Hello, this is Michelle Faust with Lemonade Legend. I amplify the voice of people who have had breakthrough moments in their life, really turning lemons into lemonade. I do this through content writing, podcasting, promotional books. In fact, my current project is a book called The Lemonade Stand. So this is part of a series where I am interviewing or having a discussion with all of the co-authors of the book. And it's primarily about women who have a vision which is much stronger than their fears. So we will be letting you know when it's going to launch, which is very, very soon. But for now, we just want to give you a little teaser and introduce you to the fabulous ladies that are a part of this book. And today my guest is Davina, Lyons with Tribe Authentic Woman. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited about this interview.
Well, good. Well, I'm excited to have you. Every time you and I have ever had any kind of conversation, it's always been great. It's kind of funny because we went months only having conversation through either a Zoom or a phone call or that. So I only just recently met you on Sunday, and it was amazing to be able to hug you. I can't tell you how good that felt.
Absolutely. I agree.
You know, it's been funny, but by getting to know so many women that are part of the book in that way, primarily through a referral, then having emails and Zoom calls, things like that, before actually meeting them, it's kind of like dating online. You know, where you sort of get to know somebody, right, you know, online or through email or whatever. And then when you really do meet, you know, you figure out if you click. But there's never been a doubt with any of you guys that are a part of this project that we wouldn't click. So anyways, I'm really excited to have you here. And there's a lot that I want to talk with you about. The first thing that I'm going to say is to talk just a little bit about your story. So this is the teaser part because I want people to get their own book and read the entire thing. So we don't want to tell them the whole story right now.
Right.
So, and then we'll talk more about what you do and all the fabulous work that you do.
Okay. All right. All right. So when you say my story, it is truly that. It's my story that starts actually at birth. And typically, you know, when you hear people say, let me tell you a little bit, well, it all started when I was 12 or whatever. That's truly it. I'm going back to the beginning prior to that, literally at birth. But I guarantee you, it definitely will catch you up and it'll be interesting. And it's important that I go back to the beginning because so much of who we are today has to do with where we started, how we started, our deep identity. And so, you know, and I it's going to be, for me, it's going to be liberating to finally get the whole story out. Because for so many years, I dealt with fragments of my story in my life, because we know that, you know, however you're socialized, how you started out in life has a lot to do with the way you think, feel, see, act, everything, right? So for me, it makes so much sense. And so I really don't want to tell any part of it other than to say you're getting a whole enchilada. You get condensed version, but definitely you're getting a lot of information that really will tell you who Davina Lyons is. And that's really important for the women that I serve.
Yeah, I understand. Didn't we have this conversation that you shouldn't have a chapter, you should have like a movie?
Yes, that's what. Lifetime is supposed to pick it up. Seriously.
All right. Well, I don't know much about like directing or anything like that, but if I could produce a book, maybe I could be your producer for the movie.
Maybe. I'm waiting for that call.
Because you do have an interesting story, and unfortunately, you know, a chapter doesn't really dig as deep as what a story really is. But the other thing that we've found happening, which is so amazing, and to me it was unexpected, was the community that we're building.
Right.
And not just among ourselves, but we're reaching out to other women. We've got people who we're asking to be on our launch team to promote, and they're saying, hey, this is a really cool thing. I like this community. We've got some other people who have had different contributions in the book, but they're not authors, and they're the same way. I really want to be in this, and and they don't want it to, it's not going to end after the book. No. I mean, that's a big part. So my initial vision on the book was more focused on the book. Right. And now I'm like, okay, what do we do with this? Because it can be so much more. So that I'm really excited about. And I think as well, it fits in very well with what you're doing with Tribe Authentic Woman. And I'd really like you to kind of explain some of the, ins and outs of what that's all about.
So, when I started, so first of all, I spent several years working in corporate America. And throughout those years, often I felt both personally and professionally that I was wearing a mask, that I was not really connected to my true identity, or at least people couldn't see me. And I always would say to myself, why can't they see who I really am? Like, I had this yearning to reveal something, but I wasn't even sure what it was. I just felt like I always had to be something or somebody in every situation, either culturally or gender, wise, or relationally, or just to be accepted in corporate, and just, prove myself. And what I came to realize when I finally said enough is enough, and I said, whatever it is I'm created to do, I went in search of purpose. And in search of purpose, I said, I know, and I've known this since I was a small child, that I was created for a reason, that there was something I'm supposed to do in, during my stay on this planet. And whatever that is, I need to find it and I need to do it. So that was the first thing. And then I had an opportunity to become a substitute teacher, and that led me into the classroom, in which I'm still in the same, right now I'm sitting in the same classroom that I initially subbed in, but the whole point behind that is, as a teacher, I started becoming more educated on different things that have to do with childhood development. And I started reconnecting with my childhood. I started looking back on the things that I had experienced. And I went to a professional development for all of the teachers in our community out here, and was introduced to the notion of ACEs, adverse childhood experiences. And that, the day that I was in an all-day seminar, and I'll never forget it, I took the ACEs survey and I saw my score, which was high. And I said, that explains it. That's why people can't see me. I can't see me. I'm buried in all of this stuff that has been weighting me down all these years. And I was expecting others to validate me, when in fact, I just needed to turn the lens inward, love and validate myself, just believe in myself, and understand that I'm not garbage. I'm worthwhile, so to speak. So with that, it started my journey. And then I realized, well, if I feel like this, I know there are many other women that feel the same way, which led me to start this community, Tribe Authentic Woman. And I named it Tribe because for years I needed that. I needed a tribe. I needed a tribe of women, or, a community where I felt like people saw me, understood me, and I was safe. So I said, first and foremost, we need to create that community, a tribe of women who have each other's back, who aren't afraid to be real, who, love and support one another, and while they're nurturing and loving and supporting themselves. So that was the beginning of it. And so I launched that in 2018, March of 2018, I launched. And prior to that, I had done a lot of stuff. I became certified to coach. I've been doing a lot over the years, but I was still in search, still trying to figure it out for myself. And so with that, with Tribe, we started doing a deep dive, looking at identity, looking at personality, looking at behavior. What do you value? So what I call the 8 steps, identity, personality, behaviors, values, beliefs, needs, motivations, and goals. When you look at all of that, it really encompasses, the totality of who you are. And if you learn to embrace the different aspects of who you are and be able to properly identify the things that have been barriers for you over the years. I don't know where women are, but we are all in different places and different spaces. But the one thing we all have in common is a need for love, right? Yep. Love, to be able to love and to something just, that was funny. I have a little flying guy that just walked across the camera lens. Did you see that?
Thanks for clarifying.
And he's after me. He said, what are the odds that a fly would walk across the, anyway. I do teach out in the desert, and there are some pleasant creatures out here. But the point is, I really, really am pleased that I've had the opportunity to not only embrace my authentic self, but help other women do the same. And that's really what the mission is. That's what it's about. It's about inspiring, motivating, educating. I do a little bit of all of it. I'm a teacher at heart, So we do the work. And it's not a one-time thing. So it's a monthly workshop. So we meet every month, usually the third, unless it's a holiday, the third Sunday of every month in Mesa. And in Mesa, Arizona, for those who are someplace else. And the goal is just, again, safe space. 2 hours, come together. Where are you in your development? What do you need? Usually there's a theme. We're talking about some aspect of, again, the identity piece or values. We spend a lot of time on values. All of that is important. It's the stuff that people don't even deal with. You just live from day to day. But you got to turn it in. You got to look at yourself and be happy and boost yourself up. And over time, you get stronger. So
I have to share that I personally have learned so much and grown so much through this process from the point of even thinking about it, thinking an inkling little thought about wanting to write a book to it now being what it is. And each and every one of you beautiful ladies have taught me so much. One of the things that I have learned is that we do need a tribe. And I, once upon a time, was really against that whole, all women something, or, it's like, I like guys. What do you want to exclude them for,
Right.
I've worked with men, I've worked with women. So I just kind of had a problem with that whole separation type of thing. And then what happened is I had a podcast, Rhino Nation, before Lemonade Legend. And Rhino Nation was really about entrepreneurs for the most part. I was excited about their energy and their ideas and things like that. So I just loved to celebrate and talk to people. And I started finding that I was talking to way more women than men. And it wasn't that I was seeking them out.
Right.
It's just, I kind of happened to find these women that, I don't know, they just, the people who fascinated me the most seemed to be women more often than men. And then as I started digging a little deeper into thinking about these stories that, these lemonade stories that come out of the lemonade situation, that's where I learned that women are more honest. Not in a, they're more honest about themselves, I should say. Not that, I'm not, don't want to call
I get what you mean. I get what you mean. Or maybe more comfortable to be open. Yeah. More comfortable to be open. Yes, yeah. Absolutely.
And but here's the thing that I really think is a tremendous aha moment for me, has been learning that we're more open to change, to changing our mindset. You know, it's like, okay, we have this bad situation, we've got to get through this, and then you learn how to do that and you get to the other side. Well, what do you do once you get to the other side? If you don't change your mindset about it, you're likely to fall, you know, back into where you were. So I just love the fact that I think as women, we are more flexible to that change. Men seem to want to just more hold on to who and what they are. That's just my opinion. No, but, that's what I find.
Yep. No, I get it. I definitely agree. And I also struggle with the notion of, do I do just women or do I make it more general so that men, and I've even had some men say to me, I think what you're doing is wonderful. The only issue I have is that I'm not included. And I've actually also spoken with men who are coaches who would want to partner up with me if we were to do something, you know, like in a one-time event or something like that, where you had equal representation. I am certainly not opposed to that. I think my biggest concern, honestly, is that when we use the terms safe space or safe place for women to, you know, do the work of developing, we have to be careful because many women have what they don't feel safe is being in the room with a man because of maybe something that's happened with them.
Yep.
Yeah, so I had to make that decision to make it a space where women could talk about things that they just wouldn't be able to talk about with a man in the room. Whether the man is an ally or not, it just isn't, you know, it just wouldn't be completely safe. And so I absolutely applaud men who pay attention to anything that's serving women, because let's face it, most men have a mother, a sister, an auntie, a grandma, someone that they love that's a woman. And if they pay attention to that, you know, so, and I'm only saying that for the men who are going to buy the Lemonade Stand book, right? For the women in their lives. You know, quite frankly, I think that that's one of the greatest gifts a man can give a woman is the support of her being more confident and showing up authentic.
Basically saying, I understand, you know, that, again, the stories aren't every woman's stories, but there's that common thread that runs through them that I think just about any woman can resonate with. And I'm kind of excited too, because, you know, we each have somebody sort of on our team that's going to pre-read the book and be, you know, putting it out there from promotional help to help us to get the word out. And we have a few men.
Yes, I have 2 men on my team.
Yes. Because I want to hear their thoughts and opinions. And, you know, wouldn't it be an amazing thing? You know, not that I expect this epiphany of something to happen, but if we had a world where men could feel safe to create that own environment for themselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But, you know, we spent so many generations and my gosh, hundreds of years going back to cavemen days and stuff that, you know, that we've created, you know, this gender gap situation.
Totally. Absolutely. And that touches upon what I talk about too, with the whole notion of being authentic. You know, I think aligning with men, they struggle just like women sometimes to be able to line up, you know, their thoughts, their feelings, and their actions, no different than women do. You know, unfortunately, I think men have additional stigmas placed on them that women don't. And I get that and I feel for them, but and I would like to see more male champions stand up and do some of the work that we are doing as women for other women. I want to see the same thing for men. I would be right there going, yeah, go, you know, and I believe that for all, you know, any people that feel marginalized, there always has to be a champion. And I'm always right there saying, I applaud you for doing that. We need fighters. We need gladiators, right? But but for now, my mission is to serve women and to see more women get in the ring. That's really what my mission is. Just first and foremost, by loving themselves so much that when they step in a room, they light the room up
And
from the inside.
Yeah. And, that's so true in that, you can't expect others to love you till you love yourself.
That's right.
And as you referred, earlier, how could people see you if you couldn't see yourself? I think there's just so much we don't understand about really getting in touch with ourselves and who we are, and how that impacts the whole process of growing up, or expectations in life, or all those things.
Right.
And here I am, at my, I won't disclose, but later years in life, finally figuring that out, and I'm like, oh my God,
right.
What if I knew these things when I was 20 or 30?
Right, right.
Which we can say that about so much, but personal growth, I think, is a big subject now, and people are really looking at that and saying, I want to be a better person. I want to be more than.
Well, and that's because we see so much around us that reminds us that we have to be better people. And it's getting worse. And so I think that consciousness is something that has to happen. And when you think about how it happens, in fact, that's one of my missions is also to really translate the how. Because we've all been trained, I always say Simon Sinek, he's got it locked down, the why, get to your why, understand your why. But I really need to see more of the how. And I really want to educate in that arena because oftentimes I believe that people believe that there's a magic bullet, that there's, if I could just do this, then this would happen. It is so much more complex than that. And it's not a thing that you do on an island by yourself. Again, you need a tribe. You need other people that can help nurture you as you go in to do the deep work that you need to do to connect to who you really are. And that is, for many, they're so busy with just living their lives. They're so busy with going to work, coming home, whatever is going on in their relationship, and fitting in television and whatever they need to do. No judgment, but at some point when you are in the wee hours of the morning trying to figure out why you're unhappy, that's when it's time to do something about it.
Yeah.
And
I think there's something to be said about people loving you and celebrating who you are that are outside of your family.
Right.
Mom, dad, whatever. And I want to make sure I word this the way I mean it. There's an authenticity, I think, to it when it's somebody who is, has no obligation because you're my child or you're my mom, right. You're my whatever. But I love who you are as a person, as a friend, as as another female, and I want to support you. And that I think is so meaningful and so powerful that when we surround ourselves, then we empower ourselves in who we are.
That's right.
But we also, on the same token, I think, have to kind of remember if people aren't serving our needs and lifting us up.
That's right.
We need to push that away a little. That's been a hard thing I've had to learn.
Right. Yeah. And it's not easy because, again, we are socialized to believe that we have to be nice people and be nice to everybody and not really express ourselves if it'll hurt someone's feelings and all that kind of stuff. And I certainly don't advocate being unkind, but I definitely know how to not be a part of your circle if you are not, if your spirit and my spirit aren't lining up. I have learned to just, quietly not be there. And that's not taking away anything from the other person. It took me a long time. There was a time when I wanted to be in the room with everybody because I thought those people had to validate me. And now as I have grown and so we teach best what we need to learn. So as I developed embracing who I am, 8 steps to mastering authenticity, there were still lessons I was learning. Even as I was developing my material, a lot of aha moments, a lot of, oh, I'm still doing that. And this is how I feel when I do that. And so I am still learning. It's a never ending story. I know that sounds familiar. That's a phrase coined from a movie or something, but it's a never ending story.
Yeah.
And the thing is that the better you get along the journey, the more you enjoy the journey. And that's where I am. I'm at the time in my life where I'm enjoying the journey. The more I share, the more I try to build others up. Obviously, I'm rising up with them, and that's cool. That's really cool to me.
Well, you're absolutely right. And I can speak to my own journey. I jumped out of the corporate world. Actually, I was forced out of the corporate world.
I get it.
Story. You can read it in my story in the book. And making a lot of money is great. I have nothing against it. I love making money. But I think when we are so focused on that becomes a decision maker, that's when it hurts. And so now I'm following my heart and loving the journey, as you said. It was, in the beginning, it was frustrating, when I switched into entrepreneurial world, because I just felt, have no idea what I'm doing. And now that it gets more and more defined,
right, I
get much more excited and love it that much more. And my husband is retired, and I'm just like, go be retired. I got a lot of years left.
Yeah.
No, I don't begrudge him. He's been a hardworking guy, and he does do other things on the side. But what I've come to realize is how energizing this has been. Even though I complain some days, I'm so tired, I don't know how I'm going to get it all done. All those things. In the end, it's purpose. It's having purpose.
It's purpose. It is definitely purpose. And the other thing I was thinking about with you as well, when you think about what you did, you created a community as well. You didn't jump out and say, hey, I'm going to do this thing and it's all about me. And I know when we met Sunday, I kept thinking, oh, what a beautiful, humble heart Michelle has, because you kept saying, this is us. This is, we are doing this. This isn't my book or my, and at the same time, you're not only are you willing to share the spotlight, but you are very much so a part of, you creating a community, a tribe, once again, of women who are lemonade legends. That's exciting. It's exciting for me to be a part of your tribe, and feel like it's a safe space for me as well. And in the time that I've spent with the women, because we had another meeting, if you remember, over at Wild Horse Pass, I met with some of the ladies when you were out of town. It was like we were sisters. It was like we'd known each other forever. And then again, Sunday. So thank you. Thank you for what you've done.
Thank you. I mean, again, this has been, it wasn't expected. And that has been the true bonus. And
motion sensor lights.
It went dark on me.
This is great. We're just gonna wave. And yeah, okay, that's not working. Let's use a clipboard.
There you are.
Can't get any better. It just I've had a fly and the lights have gone out.
But yeah, in the beginning for me, I wanted to write a book. Yeah, I wanted to be an author, and that was just a passion, and I wanted it to be about fearless attitude, because that's something that I have learned. And then I thought, I don't think my story all by itself is, I mean, I don't want to say it's not impactful, but it didn't seem like enough to me. And once I started meeting all of you, I validated this to myself, that it had become something so much more because of the contribution of everybody. So it's not my book, it is our book. And, you know, yeah, I've had to orchestrate, you know, some of the stuff, and kind of get mad when you don't look at Facebook often enough in our group. I'm not pointing my finger at you. It's a general pointing of my finger. But on the same hand, it's been a great opportunity for me to learn leadership skills.
Yes.
Because a lot of times in my life, I've been the one who's just like, okay, just you tell me what to do. You know, and now I'm in a different role in which I can take that leadership opportunity. But here's my takeaway from this experience is you're not a leader unless you're embracing your group and who you're leading.
Right, right, exactly.
So that's been what I've learned. And I know that we're coming up a little bit on time. We're going to have to cut off. I want to give you kind of the last word and of your thoughts of why you're doing the book and what you would like to see come from your sharing your story.
Okay. Well, I've come to understand that, you know, we all have a story. And I say all, I mean, not just the authors in this book, but all throughout life, most people have a story and a background. And some would say, well, you know, I don't know, you know, I've heard people say, well, I don't tell my story because, you know, I don't want to be whining, or I don't want people to perceive me a certain way. And I thought about that. And I thought about over the years how many times I've tried to tell my story. And I said, why did I have a need to do that? And again, it comes back to wanting people to see me and understand why I am the way I am. And finally, it occurred to me that my story's true value has to do with collapsing time frames for someone else. It has to do with helping someone overcome their story. Because some people have a story that they are still very much so mired in the pain of, and they don't know what to do with their story. I'm beyond the pain or sadness or hurt or any of that. And now my story is simply the greatest gift I can give, either through the Lemonade Stand book or any conversation that helps someone to say, you can overcome. You can live the life. And I know that sounds cliche, but it's the truth. You can live the life you're meant to live. You can live purposefully. You can definitely live life on your terms. So for me, this chapter in this book and this opportunity that you have given me is absolutely amazing, because it's the one thing that I really, more than anything, wanted to do, was to tell my story in hopes that it would reach women out there who are thinking, man, will I ever? Will I ever? Yes, you can. Yes, you will. You just have to know you're not the only one.
Well, I've been privy to all the stories. So I've read them. They're all powerful, every single one of them. But you wrote yours beautifully, and it's an outstanding story. And like I said earlier, I know there's more in you that you will be sharing in one form or another. I hope it's in series 2 of the Lemonade Stand. Right now, let's just get the first one out.
Right? I'm with you. I'm with you, sister. I'm with you.
But, you know, I literally feel like I could talk to you forever. You know, you, I don't know, some people just exude that. I could just have conversations going on for, you know, for hours. And that's what I get from you, Davina. And
I can't guarantee the lights will stay on or that I don't lose it with the fly here. But
yeah, I know. You get to school, yeah, your lights are going to go off. The 5 o'clock bell is going to start ringing soon. And
oh, yeah.
But we'll have more conversations to come. We're going
Yes.
to have launch events to come. So many exciting things that we'll keep people posted about. And I just want to say I thank you so much. Now, I know you said Tribe Authentic Women, it meets on Sunday, right?
Yes, on every third Sunday of the month in Mesa, 126 West Main Street at the Main Street Learning Lab. But yes, and I always post. So I have, my website is www.tribeauthenticwoman.com.
Okay.
And I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, you name it. I'm all over the place. If you just type in Davina Lyons, you're going to see me on social media.
Yeah,
yeah.
I had to share my bio with somebody today, and I realized that all of my social, media channels took up way more space than my actual bio did. So,
Right?
I don't know what that means. Is it good or bad? I don't know. But but it is a drop-in thing with Tribe Authentic Women. Do you need to sign up ahead of time?
Well, you're welcome to come in. There is a fee of $15 for my materials. But you're welcome to walk in, absolutely, and pay at the door, or you can register. I'm always on Eventbrite. I also do Venmo and Cash App, I believe. I try to make it convenient for women, wherever they are. But yeah, absolutely. Just,
So someone could just go to your website and just register there.
Absolutely.
Just let hey, I'm going to be there. Or...
Yeah, there'll be a link to the Eventbrite. Usually you can do it that way. And always just the contact page. Just let me know, hey, I plan on being there. I just like to know for handouts and things like that. So I like to know how many people are showing.
We all need to plan and kind of,
Exactly.
Know what the day is going to be. And I'm sure there's never a meeting where nobody comes through the door. So,
no, there hasn't been. Thank goodness, there hasn't been. not a long time.
I'm very grateful for you and what you're doing with your group. And one of these days, I promise you, I'm going to get there. That's not quite my neck of the woods, but it's worthwhile to get in the car and drive to. So look for me too, but I won't surprise you. I'll let you know.
Okay. Okay.
So I thank you again so very much. Look forward to all of everything that's going to grow from this point forward. You and I will be connected by the hip, by the umbilical cord, whatever it is. I don't know. We'll be soul sisters, okay?
That's right. That's right. I'm good with that. That's cool.
All right. Thank you so much. And thanks to all of you out there. Appreciate your listening in. Thank you.